absorb all of it. Some of it would pass through. Because
Yeah, some of it, true, but maybe not.
it would keep more than little rocks. Like gravel would keep it.
Yeah, gravel would keep it.
Little stones.
Already gravel.
Oh yeah, you could.
It might damage the
I'm going to the paper that I got, and it's gravel. I mean, it's all keep some water there.
4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going to start on this side. We've been starting over here a lot today, so let's have your suggestions. What else could we use? All right. You can definitely use a sponge, and there's tons of grow mediums that are very much like sponges, and this is good for the plant because it holds a lot of the water that it needs.
Marbles?
Marbles, you can use marbles, but the important thing to remember with glass and objects like that is it's not holding any water. So these are very, very similar to marbles, but I'll pass a little bit, I wish I could pass a little bit around, but I don't want to make a big mess. But the idea with these is they're not quite smooth on the outside. They do hold water, and you have to remember that roots need something to grab onto. So marbles aren't the best, but there are a lot of things very similar to marbles that do work. So, anybody else?
We also thought of sponge.
Sponge. Foam, sponge. I'm sure you guys have seen that green foamy stuff that they use with like fake flowers sometimes. There's a lot of grow mediums that are a lot like this.
Yeah, it's sponge too.
Sponge. Eraser bits. See, now we're getting more creative. It's important to remember that there's tons of organic things that we can use to grow plants in that aren't dirt, right? Pardon me? Styrofoam. Styrofoam does work, but that can make sometimes a lot of garbage and a lot of waste. There's things like, have you guys seen coconuts? You know that rough part on the coconut husk?
Yeah.
A lot of people throw that out and it turns into waste. But that's something that works really well. I'm sure in your gardens you guys have seen your parents use those wood chips all over the place, whatever nice color they are. That works well too. There's also some plastic synthetic wools. That what it is it allows the roots to get all in the wool, kind of like cotton balls, but it's made out of plastic. So there's tons of different things that we can put in here. Things like fish tank gravel, like I said, cocoa coir, so that husk on the coconut, sponges. There's so many different options, and it's important to remember this, especially when we're building a system, because like Charlie said, we're using the things we already have here. We're not trying to go out and buy a whole bunch of new stuff, right? Yep, sorry. So one of the things that's going in the bottom of the bottle is one of these drain caps. And what that's going to do is just keep these nice little balls from falling all over the place should we ever decide to take the system apart. It's actually just dust. Like I was saying, these are made out of clay. So as per any rocks or any gravel that you get regularly, sometimes when you're dumping it around there's some dust. It's bumping up against itself, right? So you only want to fill these about halfway because if we're adding our plants, you have to remember you got to leave a little space in there for the plant, right? Got those. So there's tons of other ways that you can hang the system. We're using zip ties because this is easy and this is fast. And I can do it right in front of you. You can use twine, you can use rope, you can use fish wire. Whatever you have around is something that is an option, right? And being eco-friendly, you might want to choose something that's an all organic twine or something, because then we're keeping things earth-friendly, right? So I'm going to thread these through here. So over here we have our wonderful pre-prepared sprouts. There's some delicious lettuce and some black cherry tomatoes in here. So I'm just gonna grab. So what these are is this is just it's the same type of stuff as the insulation in your house, that pink stuff in the walls. So the idea is there's so many things you can use to grow plants in that they like that anything holds water but lets it go through. So these are just an example of small dirt cubes that you can grow plants in. So we're going to start with our little sprouts.
Guys, sit down, guys.
So I just need to top them up a little bit and then we'll be ready to go here. Put some plants in. Going to nestle them nicely in here. It's good to keep the top of the plant a little up to the edge so that it knows where the sun's at and it knows which direction to grow, right? So we're going to nestle them in here like that. Feeling around the sides. Making sure not to bury our friends. So what other plants do you think you can make in the 3Dponics system? Tomatoes, potatoes, onions, The beauty of the system is that you can put any type of plant you want in it. If you want to grow flowers in it, you can grow flowers in it. You can grow watermelon. You can grow pumpkin. Well, no, wait,
What happens
guys.
if it collapses the whole system?
We're dealing with the roots in the plant. So with things like pumpkins and anything like that, we can definitely grow them. How do you think it works? You guys are saying a bigger container, but where does the fruit grow on that type of plant? Is it something that's right here at the roots, or are we talking like a vine maybe, right? Like a tree, exactly. So even with things like cucumbers and watermelons that a lot of people think are not okay to grow with the hydroponic system, it's very easy to accommodate for things like that. Even in a hanging system, let's say you want the watermelon, if it starts sprouting out the side, all you have to do is make sure that the fruit is supported so it doesn't fall off the vine. But the vine's going to be outside the container. Like your plant doesn't stay in here, right? Plants grow and they go up and sideways and they crawl along the wall and whatnot. So definitely there's so many options of what we can put in regardless of how difficult sometimes people might think it is. I'm going to start this now that we've got all our plants in here. So I'm using one of the nozzles as a second purpose. Sometimes things don't print perfectly, so we have some extras and some leftovers. So anyways, it's always important to reuse all your extras and your leftovers, not throw them out, even when it comes to 3D printing, right? You'll find out when you guys have a 3D printer that not everything works every single time. Super simple. Step one. I know, guys, hard, right? Super rocket science here.
Wow, so hard.
Now, if I could get you to just come up here and help me a little bit, this would be awesome. If you could just hold the bottom of this container. Thank you, got it. Sometimes you need a helping hand. I can do this by myself, but I have made a mess on the floor before, so it's much easier just to get a nice, one of your friends to come and help you out. Okay, you can let go. Thank you. So all 3D parts, like I said, are super customizable and easy, so when we needed holes to hang the next bottle, all we had to do was design holes into them, right? Step two. So does this look like something you could kind of do like in 10, 15 minutes on the weekend as kind of a project, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I get your hands one more time, please? Down a little.
We're wasting time. Yeah, this
So the nice thing about zip ties is there's a lot of adjustability I can have here. If I want to run it really long, it can be really long.
You're almost done. Something about this. I don't need a program or something that I'm gonna do. I don't need a program. I can hand this off my phone.
One more time.